Hello, I'm the Wacky Musician, and this is Make and Play a Paper Irish Drum, a perfect music craft for St. Patrick's Day. As everyone always says at the beginning of their videos, please thumb us up with a like and subscribe, unless you don't like us, which makes us sad, but that's okay. To do today's craft, you will need the following items. You will need 3 paper plates. 1, 2, 3. You will need several sheets of paper. Mine's scrap paper. If you have scrap paper, that's a good way to kind of recycle your scrap paper. You will need scissors. Hello, I'm scissors. You'll need a, stapler's optional, but I recommend a stapler. Helps hold some things together while the glue dries. You will need some type of glue. Elmer's glue works fine. I'm using rubber cement because that's what I have at the apartment right now. But it's just some type of glue that'll hold the paper together. And Scotch tape. And possibly crowns. I just have 1 crown here. Got a whole box here. You'll want crowns just for coloring your drum. I've got just a green crown because I'm going to make a green St. Patty's drum. So let's get started. And as always, I will move the camera so you can see what I'm doing because I'm just not that pretty to look at. And so let's get started. So first, take one of your paper plates, turn it upside down, and take your crown. Or it could be, well, crown is best. You could use markers, but the wax on the crown actually improves the tone of the drum. So this is your coloring part. You could actually skip this part, but as I said, the wax on the crown actually does improve the sound. And what you're going to want to do, I'm actually going to put the other plates on the bottom to support it more. You just want to color the top of the drum here. This part can be skipped if you want to make it quicker, but it makes it pretty. If your plate has pushed in as you're coloring it, just push it back up, get it back into the shape of a plate. And take another plate, this one can be blank, and move that one aside. And we're going to put glue around the edges of this plate. Say Elmer's glue is good. I'm only using rubber cement because it's what's on hand. And it's running low, and rubber cement has an awful smell to it. Let's try that again, I'm off camera. And we glue around the edges here. All the way around. Round and around she goes. Where it stops, nobody knows, except you. Now, take your colored paper plate, and the paper plate you glued on. Notice this one is right side up. We put the glue on the higher edge. The colored one is upside down, and we're going to press it on top. Like so. Get it to stick. And this is where the stapler comes in handy. You could just stick it and wait and let it dry, but if you want to be able to keep going, then one thing that can speed things up is just to pop a little staple in there. One on one side, make sure we're on camera, one on the other, and one over here, and one over here. So I put in 4 staples. Staple, 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 staple. And that'll help hold it together until it dries. Also make it stronger in the long run so it doesn't fall apart when it's being used. So that's technically the drum portion. Now we need to make a handle. Not a Bach, Beethoven, Mozart handle, but just a handle. So for the handle you need, first of all, some paper. I'm using 4 sheets. I say scrap paper. These are my teaching schedules from old days. Taking 4 sheets. You can use 3, 2. I recommend more, like 4, because you want your handle to be pretty strong. Get them all together. Lay it flat, and then roll them from the short end down the long end. As tight as you can. So I'm saying very tiny roll. You want to keep it very tight. Alright, so a very tight roll there. See, there's very little room in the middle. Take your scotchy tape. Even though this is Irish, we have Scotch tape. And put a little tape on one end to hold it down. And tape in the middle. Hold it down. So tape here, and tape on the other end. 3 pieces of tape, that's all you need for this one. And there. Alright, that's the easy part. Now take your extra paper plate here, fold 2 sides towards the middle, about that much. See how much I did there? You don't want any more than that. Okay, on both sides. Try to make them about the same. That's important. Alright, so what you have now looks something like this. Trying to keep it on camera. Alright, lay it with the 2 ends sticking up. This is probably the hardest part. So you want to take your little tube here, set it here, and you're going to tape it on. And I said this is the harder part. You're going to need quite a bit of tape for this part. I'm going to take a big long piece of Scotch tape. I'm going to put it diagonally here, roll it across the tube, try to get about centered here, and I'm going to bring the other part down to connect the plate. Show you up close here. So right here you can see the tape bends a little. It has to make that connection. So the tape's going here and then onto the plate here. Now, you should also notice how much here is sticking out past the flap. Then I'm going to take another big long piece and do the opposite diagonal. Some on the tube and then onto the plate. That's not sticking. Okay. There we go. Onto the plate. Right, there we go. Okay. So, just so you can see, so we've got tape going here across to here, and tape going the other way onto here. Now, to strengthen that, we're going to take a piece of tape and go right to the edge, and I'm going to tape over those two pieces on the roll here. To lock them down, I think I'm going to do another one. Make sure those can't come up. Tape those good. All right. So on the tube, I have an extra piece of tape here to hold that. On the plate, we also want an extra piece of tape here to hold those. So we're going to put a piece across here to help hold those in place. So we have tape going here onto the plate, tape going across here to hold that tape, and tape going across here to hold that tape. And we got to do the same thing to the other side. So a big long piece of tape, diagonally down our tube, tuck that in a little, make sure it's kind of towards the center, and then coming down and connecting to the plate. So tape going like this. Sorry. What fell? Oh, the rest of my drum fell. Right. And then a piece for the other side, diagonally, and coming onto the plate. Forcing it down there. All right, so again, tape goes this way onto there, and this way onto there. And then we'll take a piece right at the end here where the flap is. We're going to wrap a piece of tape around to hold that in. Seem to be having an issue here. That's not sticking. Okay, that piece wasn't long enough. Alright, I need a replacement here. I need another piece here because that just didn't hold well. Now we'll put a piece of tape going across to hold that tape on. So again, diagonal to there, diagonal to there, piece around the edge of the tube, and a piece across here. Now, make sure it's the flaps are standing up still. So you should have something kind of like that. It's almost like a shield on guard. You don't unguard with a shield, you unguard with a sword, but it looks kind of like a shield right now. Okay, so if you got that, you're good. If you need extra tape to hold it on better, put extra tape on it. You also want to hopefully have the tape so it doesn't make too much noise. That's always a tricky part. Okay, now take your colored drum, flip it upside down, and take your shield-looking apparatus, big word there, apparatus, this part here, and smear tape, not tape, what am I thinking? Smear glue across this surface, and then we're going to glue it right onto the middle of the back of the drum. Middle of the back of the drum. That's got an interesting rhythm to it. So the part we're going to hit is the colored part, that's facing down. The other part here, we're going to glue this onto this. So let me get my glue. Not cooperating, there we go. And we're going to put glue all over the back of this. Pretty much going to stay in the center circled part. Don't really need to do too much on the outer edges. You want to make sure there's adequate glue there. That's one you want to make sure it sticks well. Put a little bit more. Okay. Alright, and then stick it on. Try to center it. Press it in, but gently, because you don't want to smash the drum portion. Alright, now that's one you will need to set aside for a little bit and let it dry. So we're going to set that aside. It's off camera. Now we got to make our drumstick. So take 3 sheets of paper. You can do less, but 3 is good. If you're doing a large class, you're working with a class, you may only want to do 2 to save paper. Bounce them together, and then, it's not staying. And then again, roll them very tightly. Bending the short end, rolling down the long end. really tightly. Again, some tape. Start from the center and tape it shut in the center. Mine's not quite straight. I'm going to push it in to straighten it. Now, for this one, we're going to tape on one end. I'm going to pick this end. Doesn't matter which end. And then we're going to tape not on the other end. Yep, tape won't come off. There we go. So I taped here and I taped in the center. Now we're going to tape in the middle of those two tapes. You'll see why we did it that way in a minute. Alright, that's good. So we have tape, tape, tape. It's in the center, it's on the end, and it's between the center and the end. Now the other end that we didn't tape, you're going to take some scissors. Hopefully you have some pretty good scissors. You need good scissors. And we're going to cut this in half right at the top of the tape in the center. So we want this tape in the center is here. Tape, tape, tape. This part we're cutting off. There we go. It went flying. So we have a tube like this. Now we need some paper, more paper. Take a sheet of paper, cut it in half. It doesn't have to be exact. It can be, ball it up. Make a nice ball. Okay, so there's the ball. And then take the other half and ball it up and make a nice ball. I should point out, if you want to, you could have colored this tube before you rolled it on the outer sheet. Make it colorful. You could color these balls. Well, not these balls. These won't be seen. We have 2 wads of paper there. Now knock my stapler over. Now take your one more sheet of paper, cut it in half. You get 1/2 you can pull out of the way. Then cut 1/2 of that in half again. So you have 2 1/4 sheets of paper. Like that, like so. Now these, if you want, you can color them. And I'm going to go ahead and color them. Let me have something to bear on here. Color them real quick. This crown is broken. Okay, there's one sheet colored green. So I can make it just a little darker. This stuff's sliding off. And now I'm going to color the other sheet, same color. You can color it whatever you want. I'm just doing green today. Alright, so there we go. We got 2 green sheets of paper here. Now, take a wad of tape, take a big piece, and roll it up into so it's on top of each itself, so both sides are sticky, like so. And stick it on the end, the very tip of this rod. It may not stay all that well. It may not stay at all. And then push the wadded up paper into it. Hold it there. That in itself will probably not hold it. So hold it there with your finger. Take a big long piece of tape. And we're going to tape all the way around. I didn't quite get that right. Let me do that again. Tape from one side all the way around to the other side. So you need a pretty long piece of tape for that. Got it there. Okay. Press it in. Make sure it holds that ball on. Alright. So now it looks something like that. Got tape going all the way around. Now take that green paper, fold it over like so. Take tape and tape it on both sides of the little post. Get there. Okay, so I got tape going here to hold it on, and then I'm going to put tape on the other side to hold it on. Alright, that's the easy part. Now, you got to kind of fold it on both sides and wrap it around the ball. Fold it in like so. Got to get all the air pockets out. Center it fairly well. Alright, and then we'll start with a long piece of tape. Come on, this tape doesn't cut well. And right here, we're going to wrap all the way around to kind of hold the folds together to start with. So, wrap tape around here. That one wasn't quite long enough. Let me get a longer piece. Yeah, cooperation. So we're at the base of the ball here. We're wrapping tape to hold all the sides together to make the ball stay. The tape right around here. I'm going to do a little bit more. Make sure you've got all of it taped down good so that it won't come unfolded. That just isn't sticking well. Let's see if we can get that better. Alright. Mine always comes out so one side's larger than the other, but that's okay. So it looks kind of like a broccoli floret. I guess because it's green, because I colored it green. But it looks something like that. That's 1/2 of our drum stick. So Irish drumsticks, I don't know if they call them drumsticks, but they have a big end here, but they also have one on the other side. So we're going to repeat our process. Oops, I'm out of tape. I got to get more tape. Hold on. So let's do this again. So take a piece of tape, and we're going to tape right on the end here again, and we're going to connect our wad of paper there. Hold it there while I can get a long piece of, oops, now big long piece of tape. Is that good? That's probably too long, but tape from the stick. Get on there. Come on, not cooperating. It's crooked. All right, there we go. Tape from the stick over the wad of paper. That was a little long, but come on. And then back to the other side of the stick. Not doing so well this time. Okay. There we go. All right, that just holds the wad of paper on. Got some extra stuff here that maybe we can pull out. Okay. So there we go. Now we have a wad of paper on that end. And now we take the other green. Well, yours may not be green, but we take this square of paper, fold it over like so, and tape one end, tape the other end. Yeah. There we go. Wadding it over, sure it's centered, and taping it on. Now the other side. Oops, it's not cooperating here. Make sure your paper ball stays in the right place. Alright. It's stuck to me. There we go. Alright, here we go. Having some issue here. Okay. We got it. Alright, so now we have it taped on both sides. Now just like before, we need to wad it down. Push it all down into a ball. Manipulate it, get it to roll down into a ball. Take a big piece of tape, and we're going to tape the base of that to hold the ball together. Right around the base where it all comes together. I'm talking about the paper, where the paper all comes together. Put tape around the base. Having more trouble with this one. Alright, there we go. I'm going to put another piece because that's not holding well. So, you know, do what you, as much as you think is necessary to get it to stay on well. In this case, I'm probably using more than I did on the other side because I'm having trouble with it. I've got a piece of tape sticking up here. Where did I get it? Well, that's pretty good. Okay. There we go. So just use as much tape around here as you think is necessary to hold it together. Make sure it's attached to the stick. So now you have something that looks like this. It looks like a bone, really, doesn't it? So you can play it like that. So let's see if our drum is dry. I think mine is dry enough. So here's our finished product. Just so you can see it from the side there and the front. And your stick, and you bounce it. Alright, so now we have a finished Irish drum. Alright, so there's your Irish drum. This is the Wacky Musician going poof.